Markets gain for second day in a row. Sensex gains more than 60 points. Nifty ends above the crucial 6,700 levels. Supreme Court dismisses Sahara Chief Subrata Roy's petition challenging his detention. Roy to remain in jail. Court asks him to make fresh proposal for depositing investors' money. And preparations on for 64 Lok Sabha seats going to polls in the 8th phase. 175 assembly seats in Simandra going to simultaneous polls tomorrow. Well, hello and welcome to Business Wrap. I'm Sidhant Sibal and let's begin with our staple. That's the stock markets. Key benchmark indices edge higher for the second day in a row today. Sensex closed 63 points up at 22,508 levels. NSE Nifty ended 16 points up at 615 levels. That's above the crucial 6,700 levels. Both the Sensex and the Nifty hit the intraday highest level in almost 1 week. Key heavyweight, that's Reliance Industries and ITC both gained. Capital goods stocks also gained. HDFC dropped after announcing Q4 results. The market sentiment was strengthened by data showing that foreign funds remain net buyers of Indian stocks on Monday. Gainers on the chart were RIL, ICICI Bank, L&T, ITC and Tata Motors, which were up by between 2 to 1%. Losers on the chart were Bharti Airtel, Tata Power, Wipro, HDFC and Hero Motocorp, which were down by between 2 to 1%. The market breadth indicating the overall health of the market was negative. Well, on to the global market action, and that is starting with the Asian stocks. Asian stocks were mostly higher on Tuesday, with trading volumes curbed by holidays in Japan, Hong Kong and South Korea. Key benchmark indices in China, Singapore and Taiwan were up by between 0.03% to 0.47%. Indonesia Jakarta Composite was down 0.17%. Most European stocks edged lower on Tuesday. UK's FTSE 100 fell 0.2%. France's CAC 40 was flat. Germany's DAX declined 0.03%. Well, on to the big story of the day. In a major setback to Sahara Chief Subrata Roy, the Supreme Court today rejected the plea challenging Roy's detention. The issue pertains to refund of 20,000 crore rupees to investors. The court said that it finds no merit in the petition, hence is dismissing it. It added that the court adopted harsher methods after all efforts to persuade the group to pay the money failed. The Sahara group had challenged the detention of Subrata Roy, saying it was illegal. The court said that detention of Roy is illegal and all legal procedures were followed by the bench before sending him to jail. The bench said that judicial orders can't be allowed to be circumvented and disobedience of court's order strikes at the very root of rule of law. Supreme Court also brushed aside Sahara's contention that it has refunded the money to investors, saying there is no credible record to prove it. Well, more news from the courts. The Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court today ruled that the CBI does not need to seek concurrence from the government for initiating investigation against senior bureaucrats in the Prevention of Corruption Act. It held as invalid and unconstitutional the provision in the law requiring government's approval. The court also clarified that all government officials have to be treated equally and have to face the same process of inquiry in graft cases. According to Section 6A of the Prevention of Corruption Act, CBI needs to get sanctions from the government for any inquiry or prosecution of officers of joint secretary level and above. The Constitutional Bench said that the status of top bureaucrats is of no relevance in the offence under the Prevention of Corruption Act.
The Supreme Court's Constitution Bench has today, in a historic judgment, struck down the single directive which had been introduced in 2003 in the CBI Act and the CBC Act, by which the CBI was required to take the permission of the government for even investigating officers of the level of Joint Secretary and above. This absolutely dishonest provision had been introduced by the government after the Hawala judgment, when the Supreme Court had held that this same single directive, which had by then been introduced by way of an administrative order, that this was unconstitutional. Despite that, the same provision was brought in the CVC Act and the CBI Act in 2003, which has today been declared to be unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has held that this is interfering and obstructing corruption investigations against senior officers, and the Supreme Court has also held that this is totally discriminatory, because under the Constitution, under Article 14, all people are considered equal, and just because officer happens to be a senior officer above the level of Joint Secretary, he cannot be granted this kind of protection or immunity from corruption investigation.
Well, a stage is set for tomorrow's polling for the 8th phase of Lok Sabha elections in 64 constituencies spread over 7 states. Polling will begin at 7 a.m. and will continue till 6 p.m. except in sensitive pockets in Bihar, where it will end at 4 p.m.
Polling is scheduled on Wednesday for 64 Lok Sabha seats. In this phase, 25 Lok Sabha seats of Simandra will go to polls. Congress won 21 seats out of 25 in 2009. But this time around, the situation is different. The pre-poll alliance plans of Congress and TRS could not materialize, while BJP joined hands with the TDP in the region, which might benefit the NDA. Polling will also be simultaneously held for 175 assembly seats. Elections on 15 seats in Uttar Pradesh, 7 in Bihar, 6 in West Bengal, all 4 in Himachal Pradesh, 2 in Jammu and Kashmir and all 5 in Uttarakhand will also take place on Wednesday. The 8th phase is significant as it includes several high-profile leaders. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is contesting elections from the Nehru Gandhi borough of Amethi. While BJP has fielded its prominent leader Smriti Irani to take on Rahul Gandhi, Aam Aadmi Party has fielded Kumar Vishwas. In Bihar, RJD chief Lalu Prasad's wife Rabdi Devi is contesting elections from his bastion Saran, and BJP has fielded Rajiv Pratap Rudi. BJP is in alliance with the LJP and its chief Ramvilas Paswan is fighting elections from Hajipur constituency. In West Bengal, for the Bankura seat, CPM candidate Vasudevacharya is seeking re-election for the 10th time. TMC has fielded actress Munmun Sen against Vasudevacharya. In Uttarakhand, all eyes are set on Haridwar seat. Renuka Rawat, wife of Chief Minister Harish Rawat, former Chief Minister and BJP candidate Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank are pitted against each other on this seat. Other prominent leaders, former Chief Ministers B.C. Khanduri, Bhagat Singh Koshyari and Harak Singh Rawat are trying their luck at the hustings. In Himachal Pradesh, it's a two-way contest between the BJP and the Congress, but the Aam Aadmi Party has turned it into a triangular contest. Other faces, BJP's Anurag Thakur, Shanta Kumar, Pratibha Singh, wife of Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh, and Kamal Kant Batra, mother of Kargil martyr Captain Vikram Batra, are also contesting elections. In Jammu and Kashmir, Baramulla and Ladakh will go to polls. Congress is in alliance with National Conference. PDP and BJP are trying to make their presence stronger in the region. 8th phase is the penultimate phase, and electioneering has reached a feverish pitch. With just one more phase left, political parties are trying their best to win in their respective strongholds. Janadesh Desk, DD News.
Well, the Reserve Bank of India Governor Raghuram Rajan has expressed optimism on India's growth rate going beyond the 5% mark soon. On the sidelines of a special talk at Oxford University yesterday, Rajan reiterated his view on the growth rate being inevitably linked with curbing inflation. Rajan also expressed confidence that whichever government takes over, it will lay a clearer path to revive growth. Well, private sector output in India fell for the second consecutive month in April as manufacturing production rose at a softer rate and service sector output declined further. The HSBC India Composite Output Index, which maps both services and manufacturing, increased from 48.9 in March to 49.5 in April, but remained below the crucial 50 mark, which indicates contraction. Meanwhile, HSBC's Services Business Activity Index edged up from 47.5 in March to 48.5 in April, but this index too remained below the 50 mark. The difficult economic climate combined with the elections and a further drop in new orders had all contributed to the latest fall in business activity. Well, time for a short break. More after this break.
वाओ!
अरे मान जा यार, बस आंख बंद करके गाड़ी दे दे मुझे।
आंख बंद करके गाड़ी नहीं देते तो देश क्यों? इंडिया वोट स्मार्ट।
प्रधान जी, हमारे हैंडपंपों में पानी नहीं आ रहा।
हमारे बोरिंग में भी पानी नहीं आ रहा, फसल सूख रही है।
हमारे हैंडपंपों में पानी इसलिए नहीं आ रहा क्योंकि भूमि जल स्तर बहुत नीचे चला गया। इसे रिचार्ज करना होगा। चेक डैम और तालाबों द्वारा जल का फिर से भरण करना होगा और साथ ही इस बात का भी ध्यान रखें कि तालाबों में कपड़े ना धोएं और जानवरों को ना नहलाएं। इससे जल प्रदूषित होता है। जल प्रदूषण न करें, जल संरक्षण करें।
जल बचाएं, कल बचाएं।
बांगड़ सीमेंट सस्ता नहीं, सबसे अच्छा।
Welcome back. India is likely to have below average monsoon rainfall in 2014, raising the possibility that drought could stoke inflation. But this is not always true for the stock markets, as sometimes despite weak monsoon, markets have done well. Here's a special report.
Indian Meteorological Department has warned that rains during the southwest monsoon will be 95% of the long period average of 89 centimeter. There is a 60% probability of El Nino, a weather phenomenon related to warming in the South Pacific that appears to be linked to a below normal monsoon. There are concerns that below average rainfall may have an effect on inflation and economic revival prospects. However, since 2001, a bad monsoon doesn't seem to have had much of an impact on the benchmark Sensex. Southwest monsoon rain was more than 5% below the long period average in 7 of the last 12 years. However, the Sensex declined only thrice in the July to September quarter and twice in the October to December quarter in a year. In 2002, the rainfall was 20% below the average. The Sensex declined 9% in July to September and recovered over 12% in October to December. In the drought year of 2009, the monsoon was 19% below normal, but the Sensex gained 17% in July to September quarter. Foreign institutional investors were net buyers every year in the past 12 years, except in 2008 and 2011. Analysts feel the impact of IMD forecast is likely to be negligible and market will continue to be buoyant on expectations of reforms and growth recovery. Experts feel that impact of the IMD prediction on the equity market is minimal. Strong foreign flow, revival in Indian economy and expectation of fast-track reforms by the new stable government at the centre will outpace any impact that arises from the shortfall of monsoon rain. The IMD issues its long-range forecast for the southwest monsoon in 2 stages, one in April and the other in June. In the second, the April forecast will be updated and forecast for the 4 geographical regions as well as for June to July will be issued. Business Bureau, DD News.
Well, as a part of its efforts in effective implementation of anti-money laundering rules, SEBI has signed an MOU with Financial Intelligence Unit or FIU, which is tasked with looking into suspicious financial transactions. This MOU is signed as a part of continued coordinated efforts in effective implementation of requirements of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and the rules framed thereunder. The regulator and the FIU will cooperate with each other in areas of mutual interest, including the sharing of intelligence and information available in their respective databases. The MOU would lay down procedures under the Prevention of Money Laundering rules. Well, continuing with news from SEBI, to enhance the enforceability of various regulatory provisions by listed firms, SEBI proposed a new set of rules that would regulate or provide greater disclosures by the companies and give more powers to stock exchanges to check any non-compliance. The proposed norms would need to be followed by all listed companies, including a listing of debentures, bonds and mutual funds on stock exchanges. The final norms would be framed after taking into public comments. New norms would replace the existing provisions for listing agreements that currently act as a contract between a stock exchange and the entity seeking to list on its platform. SEBI has sought public comments on the proposed norms by May the 30th. Well, now a news which will interest all of us. Social media platforms and tech companies are caught by the poll fever, with many coming out and urging youth to cast their votes in the country's biggest battle for ballot. And three American companies, that is Facebook, Twitter and Google, have emerged as a major player in the ongoing general elections in India, along with many tech giants. We bring you this report by our correspondent Salva Chowdhury.
The three social media giants, Facebook, Twitter and Google, have emerged as major players in the ongoing general elections in India. Political parties and candidates are competing with each other in breaking the news, spreading their message through these outlets, in addition to those via the traditional media. While the impact of these social media on the elections could be known only after May 16th, when the results are out, all the three major players have seen substantial increase in their India traffic and usage. For instance, Facebook has now 100 million users in India, its largest outside the United States, while that of Twitter has more than doubled since January this year. After the 7th round of polling, there were 49 million elections-related conversations on Twitter, more than double the 20 million elections-related conversations on Twitter for all of 2013. In 2009, Shashi Tharoor was the only Indian politician to have a Twitter account and had 6,000 followers. 5 years later, there is hardly any major political leader who does not have an account on Twitter. Tharoor is now the second most popular politician on Twitter with 2.16 million followers after Narendra Modi with 3.89 million followers. Modi now also has nearly 14 million fans on Facebook. Barack Obama is the only other politician to have more Facebook fans than Modi. The internet giants have also initiated series of things for users to be updated about the polls. This includes Facebook's election tracker, through which people can get real-time updates. Now many candidates are using Facebook and Twitter for breaking news. On the other hand, Google Hangout is other medium which provides platform to politicians to reach out to their supporters. Google also created a Google Elections Hub for election-related news and information, created to help 800 million Indian voters stay informed and updated about the elections. With political parties, leaders and candidates putting their advertisement on social media to reach out to their voters, all the three major players are reported to have made substantial addition to their revenues. Not only this, elections have helped Twitter to expand in India, while the majority of the users of social media are connected in urban areas. The election have helped them expand their reach to the rural areas too. Before the elections, the use of social media was generally restricted to the national political parties. But as the general elections gain momentum, even regional parties have joined the social media bandwagon. Several media outlets have described the 16th general elections as the first social media elections. The Internet and Mobile Association of India estimates that a well-executed social media campaign can swing 3 to 4% of votes. In 2009, the popular vote of the BJP was 78 million and that of the Congress was 119 million. In 2014, the total number of Indians on these social media outlets are matching these figures. With Bureau Inputs, Salva Chowdhury, DD News.
Well, the changing face of Indian elections. Now news from the aviation sector. The DGCA has made it mandatory for the cabin crew above the age of 50 to pass medical checks every year to ensure that they are fit to fly and not overweight for their duties. This is the first time DGCA has issued such guidelines, which is likely to affect Air India the most, taking into consideration aging and requirement of agility to perform cabin safety duty efficiently. Frequency of medical examination for the cabin crew will be once every 4 years till the age of 40 years, once every 2 years till the age of 50 years, and yearly above the age of 50. Well, in the backdrop of growing international competition, what are the ways out for the Indian pharma sector, also for Indian exports? Our correspondent Abhishek Jha caught up with the DG Pharma Export Promotion Council, Dr. P.V. Apaji.
With the traditional markets there always, Indian pharmaceutical industry, are you looking forward to some new markets where you can actually have more strength, more consolidation in the days to come?
We are concentrating on that. We are concentrating on Latin American region. We are concentrating for Japan, where we have started our Brand India Pharma campaign. And very recently, 2 months before we were there in Japan, there have been several B2B discussions between Indian and Japanese industry. And they are also realizing the interest, and we are inviting them to Indian market, and also Indian companies want to take their help and enter into Japanese market by outsourcing and by going for contract manufacturing of the finished product. They may take the intermediate and pre-intermediate, pre-final stages here and take it to Japan, and they use the facilities there. Interest is growing, and if we can enter into those markets, if we can make some inroads into China, where there has been some delay in registrations and others, and there is a senior delegation. We went to China 3-4 months back, and the introduction of products in China, Japan and Latin American countries will definitely increase our export performance in the coming years.
Well, now on to some more business news from the world of business. The Supreme Court today directed Power Distribution Company BSES in Delhi to pay 690 crore rupees to NTPC by May 31st for power purchased. It said that non-payment of dues will lead to vacation of stay on disconnection notice served to BSES by NTPC. Well, Sun Pharma denied any role by its arm Silver Street developers in the surge of Ranbaxy shares priced in the run-up to $4 billion merger deal between the two drug majors. Sun Pharma said in a statement that Silver Street developers had bought the Ranbaxy shares when they had no access to public information of Ranbaxy. Ahead of the announcement by Ranbaxy and Sun Pharma, the deal which happened, Ranbaxy shares had jumped 26%. Budget carrier SpiceJet has announced an one-time guarantee program in which the airline will give a 500 rupee discount voucher to a flyer if the flight is delayed for more than an hour due to reasons in control of the airline. The passengers of the flight which are cancelled or delayed by over 2 hours will get 1000 rupees voucher. The program will come into effect from today. Well, on to earnings central. Vijaya Bank reported a 39.3% decline in net profit at 135.84 crore rupees for the fourth quarter that ended in March 2014. Meanwhile, HDFC posted a net profit of rupees 1,723 crore rupees in the quarter ended March 31st, up 11% from rupees 1,555 crore rupees in the year-ago period, which is broadly in line with estimations. Well, Sidhant Group has bagged a contract for supplying wind turbines for projects in California and Illinois in the US. The company said Sidhant Group's US-based subsidiary, Sidhant Wind Energy Corp, has signed an agreement with Power Works for supplying up to 98.7 megawatts of wind turbines. However, financial details of the contract were not disclosed. The world's largest beverage maker, Coca-Cola, plans to remove a controversial ingredient from some of its drinks branded by the end of this year following an online petition. Brominated vegetable oil is found in Coca-Cola fruit and sports drinks such as Fanta. Well, online retailer Amazon has announced a partnership with Twitter that allows users to add products to their shopping cart by tweeting a special hashtag. They can do so by replying to tweets containing a link to an Amazon product with hashtag Amazon cart in the US and hashtag Amazon basket in the UK. Users will still need to go to Amazon to pay and complete the purchase. Tesco is to launch its first smartphone by the end of the year. The phone will run Google's Android software and the specifications will be comparable to Samsung's Galaxy S5. The device will be pre-installed with Tesco services. And finally, Nokia has launched a $100 million fund which will invest in firms specializing in connected and smart vehicles. The move comes just days after Nokia completed the sale of its handset unit to Microsoft. The Finnish firm has said that mapping services is one of the three businesses that it plans to focus on. Well, that's all in this edition of Business Wrap. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.